We are now in our 50th session, and I hope you've had a good time in the previous 4 sessions. And you've picked out some of the things that have been the facilitators have been sharing upon, and I trust that you can even start applying this in your journey of business even before we get to another phase of this CEO intervention. So I'm not going to speak so much, but the facilitator that is going to take us through today has already had a time with us here on this call. She shared with us this week concerning creating business value through integrity, and I believe that you had a good time during that session. So today she's again going to take us through how to pitch and communicate your business idea or your business in general. So that is none other than Naomi. I already made an expansive introduction on her last session. I will just request us to join in and we welcome Naomi to take us through the session for today. Naomi, you're welcome.
Thank you so much, Mr. Masambu. Greetings to everyone. I am honored to be here once more. Can everyone hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, thank you so much. So, yeah, I pray that I will be relevant to everyone who is here, even if not everything, but at least in part. I hope that I will spark something for you to go and dig more about how to pitch your idea. So today we're talking about how to communicate your business, how to pitch. So we're going to first start with a definition. What do you understand as a pitch? How, as a business pitch? Could we have some volunteers telling us what you think it is? Or even if not the whole thing, like what do you think of when you hear business pitch? Can we start with that before I continue? You could type in the chat, then I will read it out. So thank you, Esther. Esther says convincing people the relevance of your business and why they should support your business. Okay, thank you, Esther. Yeah, it's true. It's basically communicating your business to other people. It may have different, your targets may be different. It could be to get them to fund your business. It could be for them to understand what your business does, to like be able to network and maybe collaborate and partner with different people. Yeah, so just for you to be able to communicate what you do to people. So that's what we're going to talk about today. And then the other thing I can say about pitching your business, sometimes you don't have so much time to talk about yourself, talk about what you do. So you have to be able to put it into, to be able to communicate to someone in the shortest time possible. So there's an elevator pitch where the assumption is if you got into an elevator with someone big or someone that has the solution to what you need to solve the problem you're looking at, if you had only 30 seconds with that person, are you able to communicate to that person briefly what your business does so that they can seek for another meeting to give you funding to be able to do that? I remember in the very first session we had, Matthew told us about the reason why we should start a business is to solve a problem, right? So if you already identified the problem that you want to solve and how you can solve that problem and what you're going to do, you need to be able to communicate it to the people who will help you to solve that problem. So those people could be those who will give you the money to be able to solve that problem, or people who will work with you who have the skills that you can work together as a synergy to be able to solve that problem. Okay, and you have to be able to cast that vision. Okay, that's another way I can look at it. Pitching can also be casting the vision to your stakeholders to be. Okay, yeah. So I wanted to share some of the things that we'd look at in when you're trying to prepare your pitch. So first of all, you introduce yourself, your name and maybe the name of the business. And then after that, what is the problem? You go straight to what problem you are solving. And then your solution and how your solution is going to solve that problem. And then who is your target audience? Who are you targeting? That solution, who is it targeting? Because, it's important to have a specific aim. You can't say that I want to sell to the whole of Uganda. Okay. So Uganda has different, first of all, it has different areas. It has different regions. Then Uganda has different age groups. There are the children, then there are the teenagers, then there are the middle age, then there's also the elderly. Yeah, so you need to be very specific to communicate who you are targeting. Okay. So, and then also the SWOT analysis. SWOT analysis would be the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. So the strength is internal. What do you feel you as a person are good at that will enable you to solve that problem? Then the opportunities is usually from outside. So, okay, let me take it in order. So strength, then weakness, then opportunities and threats. Okay, so the weakness is also what you feel is a weakness on your part. You have to be honest and say what the weakness is, because if you knew everything, you wouldn't be needing help from anyone. Okay, for example, your weakness could be that you have this idea, but you need a technical person. For example, you have this idea of maybe building green homes, but you need an engineer who has the technical information about how houses are built. Okay, so that could be what your weakness is. And then the opportunity is from outside. Like if like, what opportunities can you take advantage of? Like if maybe there is funding maybe that is available for maybe women-led organizations, or there's funding available for organizations which work with recycling. So that could be an opportunity, and it comes from outside. Okay. Yeah. So I'm going to share a clip. Okay. Before we go to that, there's also the resource requirements. You need to be very specific with what you need. What do you need? We need numbers. Okay. So one of the things that I was told when I was trying to prepare my pitch is you have to have numbers. You have to have your numbers. And when you talk about numbers, it means, like, what have you done? Like, what exactly do you need in figures? This very specific. Like, how many years do you think this amount of money will take you? And how many people are you going to reach? Like, it has to be very specific in terms of numbers. Okay. And then when you get this money, or when you get this person on board, this technical person on board, how will it make you help? Like, how much of the problem will you be able to solve? Okay. So again, you have to be realistic and not think that, okay, you can't say that I'm going to solve the problems of the whole world. No. Each one of us has a specific role, a specific purpose, and you can only solve a portion of the problem, but do it so well. Okay. So you have to make people understand that when they give you their help, when they give you their technical help, when they give you their money, you're able to solve this portion of the problem. Okay. So we're going to share a clip of a pitch that I made. I don't know, those who were not there on the first day. We make crocheted dolls, baby safe, to be specific, baby safe crocheted dolls, and neck warmers. So the target for the dolls is the children, obviously, to be used in play therapy and play-centered education. And then the scarves are for children still, but also adults. Okay, so obviously we target to sell these dolls to the parents because they're the ones who have the money, but the actual target is the children, their children. Okay, so I'm going to share. Mr. Masambo is going to help share a clip of the pitch that I did using these steps that I've taken. And once we are done with that clip, we're going to go through it. Before it starts, I would like someone to suggest any business of your choice and write it in the chat. The very first one is the one we are going to use as the what do we call it? Case study. Yes, case study, so that you can relate what my business does to what your business does, so that we break it down and simplify it. So when I made that pitch, I was already operating and I wanted funding to be able to grow. Okay, so sometimes you may pitch to start a business. There are some people who will fund startups, and then there are also you can pitch to grow. You're already working, you have seen that people want your products. However, you need more money to be able to produce massively to reach more of those people. Oh yeah, so yeah, I've seen someone who has posted. Please be very more specific about making bags. Yeah, making bags. Shalom, kindly be specific about the business. If someone can give a business that is very specific, then we shall do that. Okay, Mr. Masambu, I'll mute for you.
Can you imagine the impact it would have if every African child had the opportunity to play with a doll that looked like himself or herself? Hello, I'm Naomi, the CEO of Sima Dolls. COVID-19 adversely affected children both directly and indirectly. Dolls are imported in play therapy, but unfortunately, most of the dolls on the local market are imported plastic dolls that do not relate to your African child. The global dolls market are expected to grow from 121 to 195 billion US dollars from 2021 to 2026. The Ugandan population is the fastest growing and the youngest population in the world. Sima Dolls is benchmarking on these statistics to create dolls that look like a typical African child, with curly hair and the different shades of the African skin. And these dolls shall be used for play therapy and play-centered education. We shall work with rural women to create these dolls, creating jobs and economic empowerment. We target children organizations, mothers, and children caregivers. Our profitability is 30% of the unit price. Our strength is the availability of labor force. Our opportunity is the fast-growing population that is supported by the growing market of dolls globally. Our weakness is access to capital, and our threat is the competition from imported dolls that are often much cheaper. We have made this doll, we have tested the prototype of the dolls with 100 different individuals, some of whom are mothers and others are caregivers in children organizations. The 5,000 US dollars grant from Tony Erumelu Foundation will enable us to hire more artisans, to buy a sewing machine and knitting machine, which shall help to reduce the production costs by 30% and increase production capacity by 50%. We target to reach 10,000 children and a revenue of 100,000 US dollars and a net profit of 30,000 US dollars over a period of 2 years. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Masambu. So that one was very detailed, as you can see, but so it was very detailed. However, we can And also, like I said, I was already in production and I was looking for funding to produce more. Okay. But someone has said we can, I think before let's look at that, the example someone in the chat has said. Thank you, Esther. He said it communicated the 5 W's and so what? Yeah, thank you so much. So Shalom said she's thinking of making bags. So from what you have shared, Shalom, can you speak about your business of making bags, putting in place, you try to make a pitch from what was just shared. I don't know if you just try so we can see like how much you got from the clip. Shalom, could you please unmute and share with us your bags business as you're listening? What do you think you would communicate if you wanted to get someone to fund your business? Assuming you have made a few of them and you are assuming you already see that problem. Okay, let me first kind of put it into context. So you're making bags, leather bags. So as I'm speaking, I want you to take notes of like the things that you will fill in the gaps, okay? So we looked at what problem are you solving? So you write the problem that those bags are solving, like what challenge is there in the market with the bags. Actually, I think we can all be in, like we can all interact, assume this is our business. And so tell us, so if you are making handbags for ladies using leather, let's take leather. So what problem would that be solving? Could anyone please say what you think that the problem those bags solve? I'm going to mute for whoever wants to share because we want us to learn together. So yeah, what problem does that solve?
The problem that will be solving, the handbags, will be, it helps people to carry most of their stuff in one particular thing instead of having so many things to handle, which can lead to disorganization and even forgetting most of the stuff. And it's really uncomfortable to carry lots of stuff, which you can actually put in one place that will make you more organized. That's what I'm thinking.
Okay, thank you, Shalom. So now someone else to talk about the solution. Okay, well, you've mentioned the problem plus the solution. So the problem ideally is people have so many things and they need to have them all in one organized place, and then the solution is you're making for them a bag. Okay. So that is the solution. So how relevant is your solution? Like if you're to compare yourself with others who also make bags, why should people buy your bag? Why should someone even invest in that business of making leather bags? Because there are many others out there. So why you? Can someone else give us a reason, like why would someone invest in you specifically and not any other bag? Esther said that it solves the issue of weak bags because leather is strong. Okay. Someone else who would like to share? I think that's a good reason to convince someone. Remember, we want to convince people. We want to convince the person who has the money. Like this is the person who, if they respond, can take your business to the next level. And in this particular case, there's going to be a competition where people will be pitching and they will be funded. There's just one person who will, I don't know, maybe one or maybe more, that will get that money. So how do you convince the people who have the money that yours is the best to be invested in? Can someone else give us another reason why? Durability and style. Thank you, Moses. So durability. And it brings it to something when you're communicating why your solution is the best, it needs to speak to the people that you are targeting, okay? So if, for example, people have been carrying bags, maybe they've been carrying things in Kavera, and then you're moving and the Kavera break, like tears and the things fall out, or maybe there are those Chinese bought bags that are cheap and weak, and then, you know, it gets worn out in a short time. So durability is a good thing that relates to the emotions of the buyer. So though the person who wants to give you money is not necessarily the buyer, but you have to also convince them, looking at the fact that even they can be your potential client, okay? So thank you so much, Moses. Can we move to the profitability? So we might, oh, do you have another? Okay, yeah, that's the one. So profitability. So as you're sharing, you need to be able to share. You may not share all the details and say that, oh, I buy the leather at this much, I buy the lining at this much, the straps at this much, then I pay labor. You have to know already, you have to calculate from the back end how much you're going to put in to be able to produce 1 unit of these bags and be able to communicate it like a summary of it. Okay, so you need to say, for example, in the example that I shared, for us, we earn 30% of the unit price. So if, for example, a bag is costing 100,000, 30% of 100,000 is 30,000, right? So it means 70,000 is all the money that goes into producing that unit, 1 bag, okay? So you don't have to say, like, so you say the profitability is 30% of the unit cost, okay? So that's what I shared in my presentation. So when you're talking about that leather bag that you want money for, you have to communicate, the person that you're communicating to needs to understand how is the profitability. If, for example, the person that is going to give you money is going to give you a loan, they need to understand that, okay, so this product that I am investing in, when depending on the agreement, they might say, we want maybe 10% off each bag that you sell, or we want 5% off each bag. All these people who give you money have different needs they have from you. Some might say that in order for us to give you money, we need for you to employ maybe 70% women in your business. Others might say, we want you to be able to use maybe the offcuts or the remainders of what you make. We need for you to be able to create another product that is environmentally safe. We need to know that your business. Another might say, we need you to show us that you're actually employing people in the community, not just working alone. So different funders will have different needs. So when you communicate the profitability for someone who is giving you a loan, for example, they understand, okay, so this person is able to pay me if I want, for example, for them to give me 10%. They're earning 30% in profits. So 10%, I think, can work for me, okay? Yeah, and also you have to note that after pitching, you have an opportunity to say, I do not want your funding anymore because you do not agree with the terms I have. I had to do that for one of the people I pitched to because they wanted to give out a loan and I was not interested in a loan at that time. I was just pitching because I had gone through a training and I was happy to just learn the skills of pitching, but I was not interested in the offer they were giving me. So it's okay to turn it down, okay? If it's not agreeing with your values, for example, there are some people who will tell you, we can only give you money if you maybe make products for the LGBT community. If that does not agree with your values as a believer, which I think it should not, you can say, I'm sorry, but I will not take it because according to our business values, we do not support this, okay? Or if, for example, what if they say maybe make products that, I don't know, whatever it is, what your values are has to align with what the funder, what their values are. Okay. So these are conversations you have later, not in the pitch itself. Okay. So when the pitch is compelling, they will require for you to give more information. Okay. Then the target audience, you have to also be clear on who the target audience is. I think Shalom was quite clear. She was making the bags for ladies. Okay. So that is clear. However, it can be even more clearer when you say that you're targeting ladies, maybe of maybe middle-aged ladies. Can even specify more by like the income they earn, what income, but all those also are specified when you have been given audience to share more about which particular ladies you're targeting. So it could be age group, it could be where they are located. We're targeting ladies in Uganda, we're targeting ladies in Kampala, we're targeting ladies who are within this age range, we're targeting ladies who are mothers, for example, like mothers have to carry their extra clothes, extra diapers, a bottle for feeding the baby. So you can't carry all those things in a Kavera, so you need a strong study bag that can carry all those things and still look good on you, because women love to look good. Okay. So you don't need everyone to see like the pampers popping out of the bag and then a baby blanket peeping out. Have you seen those ladies who maybe like you met them in taxis and the bag is literally bursting, you know? There are things popping out with evidence that you have a baby. Okay. So you want to look good. So you want the bag that you can carry, and no one will know that, even if they knew, like there's no evidence that I have stuff in here for a baby. Okay. So this will speak to the emotions of the woman. And, you know, we are emotional people. So this is good for your what? For your target. Okay. So there's now the SWOT analysis, which is the strength, the weakness, the opportunities, and the threats. You may or may not have the opportunity to share all these details I'm sharing, but if you were to, what would you say is the strength? And the strength is something internal. In my clip, I shared that the strength we had for the dolls is the fact that the dolls market was projected to increase like globally. So that's like, oh no, that is external. That's an opportunity. But our strength is the availability of the workforce. Because like I mentioned, Uganda has the youngest population, meaning that there will always be people who want work. Okay. So you are looking at the fact that we shall always have people who can work with us to make these dolls. There are countries where they don't have many people. For example, Dubai, they don't have a big workforce. Because mostly, like to do those, their reason for not having a big workforce is because most of them are rich and they don't have any people to do those like small, not small, but I would say blue collar jobs. So they don't have a big workforce. That's why they have to import labor. Okay. However, for Uganda, we have a young population. There are very many people who can work. So our products, which are labor intensive, which I think is also the same for the leather bags, like you have to cut, you have to sew, so you need people, and we have very many people. So there's availability of workforce. Okay, that would be your strength. Okay, then the weakness would be external. Okay, so the weakness would be in our case, our weakness was availability of capital. And in this case, you have your idea and it's good, and you have people that can work, but how will you pay the people to make the leather bags? Okay, so that's your weakness. You need money from outside. Okay, then the opportunity that you have is in our case, the opportunity was the growing markets. Like what the research we did that showed that many people were buying dolls and would continue buying dolls. So your opportunity in this case for the leather bags would be the fact that people want more products that are made from natural fibers, and leather is like natural. And then also the other opportunity would be how good leather looks and how it can make people, like the women, feel good carrying it. So that's an opportunity that shows that your product has a demand, okay? So that if it went out there, the people you are targeting would want it. So that's the opportunity. Then the threat, which is external, would be the fact that they are cheaper Chinese-made bags. There are Caveras, which are also cheaper. So that is your competition, I would say. Of course, also when you're talking, be intentional to make the threat like a threat which is not such a big deal, you get. So the fact that you can get a cheap bag downtown is your threat. However, from the strength you mentioned and the fact that the leather is good, it is durable, you're already appealing to the emotions of the person who does not want a downtown bag, who doesn't want a Cavera, a person who wants something that looks good. So that threat will not even be such a big deal, okay? So even as you're speaking to your potential funder or potential partner, they're saying that, oh, the threat is not necessarily that much of a threat to you because the people who use those things are not even your target market, okay? Yeah, so you have to be strategic as you communicate your SWOT, okay? Then the resource requirements or the call to action, like what do you want? Okay, yes, you've told us all these things. So what is the point? How do we help you? Okay, that's the point where you mention, I need money. How much money do you need? Yeah, there are places where you're pitching for an exact amount of money, but then there are others where it's open, like how much money do you need to be able to take, to be able to create this impact that you say you will create, okay? So for me, that particular pitch that I shared, I was pitching for the Tony Elumelu Foundation, and they were giving $5,000. Was 5? Yeah, I think so. So you be specific and you tell them, so how is this money going to help you? Okay. So if, for example, you say you've been producing, on that note, many times people want to fund a business that is already operating, even if for half a year, even if for a year, they want to know that you have tested this product and you can prove that people want more of it, okay? There are people who fund ideas, but they're not so many. But yeah, so even when they fund ideas, you have to prove that this is something that people want anyway. Because no one wants to, even people who fund, like who give out free money, they may not be giving it out as a loan, they're giving it as a grant. However, they need, when they are writing their statistics, when they're writing their reviews, they need to be able to note that I invested money in O'Share Hooks and Pearls, and it has grown from A to this, okay? Because they also get money from other people to be able to fund. So they need to give reports that show that the businesses they've invested in are growing, okay? So if it is for people who give out loans, they need to understand that if I gave you this money, you're going to give me back money and I'm going to gain from it. No one wants to invest in a thing that is going to die, okay? So like I said before, we have to start with a mentality of this will work, okay? Start with the end in mind, okay? Whatever you do, you look at it the way God looked at creation and saw that it was good, okay? Look at your business, that it is good and it will grow and it will thrive and it will be accepted in the community, okay? So you also have to communicate that to the potential person that you want to give you money, okay? So yeah, and the traction, when you have gotten the money, by how much are you going to increase? So like I said, if you are making, if you are able to make maybe 10 bags in a week, if they give you money, what are you going to use it for? So we have been cutting manually. Now we're going to buy cutters. We're going to buy machinery that can sew. We are sewing with hands. We are hand stitching it. So we're going to now get a machine that will help us to stitch those leather bags. And how will that help? So we are producing 10. We shall be now able to produce up to 50 bags a week. And how will that 50 bags a week make your business better? It will improve our efficiency, because now you can make more in a week, but it also improve also the productivity. For the same reason, you can produce more in the week. And also it can help you to reach more women and serve more people within that short time. So yeah, I don't know if someone can also share something else about what you have learned or any questions. I think that's as far as my presentation has gone. Yeah, thank you so much for listening. I'll take questions now.